Welcome back in, Detroit Lions fans. Coming off of the monkey getting off of our back, the easiest Thanksgiving win I think I've ever seen in my life. William, I was so bored at the end of that game that I'm telling you, like, I thought about taking a nap. Like, I was just like, not really an interesting game. Like,
Unbelievable.
this one's pretty much over. Like, can I start the truck from here? Could we beat some traffic? Can we leave a little early?
Did
No,
you drink too much?
no, I only had one drink. I can't afford to get drunk at a Lions game. Are you nuts? No, all seriousness aside, most nerve-wracking game I think I've been to this year so far. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff. Luckily, yeah, Will's still eating Thanksgiving dinner. We've come home. We've had a little bit of time to digest the win, think about some things, sit back, enjoy the show, let that turkey digest, pop a top, have a cold drink, hit that subscribe button. Will, where would you like to begin today?
How about that first half? That's really all I want to come on here and talk about. Perfect first half in the podcast. Guys, see you next week.
Thanks for watching. Yeah.
No, that's it, man. After that, all hell broke loose. So, perfect first half. That's what I expected to see. Excuse me, guys. Still got a little thing going on, but that's what I expected to see the whole game. Second half, all hell broke loose. They started moving the ball. Actually, the end of the first half with that Gibbs fumble, I felt like things were downhill from there. Bears made some game plan adjustments. We got some guys banged up. I think that's really where the podcast starts, Steve. So, Steve, end of the first half, that fumble going into the second half, what are your concerns?
Listen, I thought that the defense played the best first half that an NFL defense could play. We did not give up a first down till like 50 seconds left in the first half. Like, what are we like? It was a one-sided butt whooping. But offensively, I didn't like a lot of things I saw. And the Bears defense was stingy, held us to some field goals. I thought that we could have put our foot really on their throat and just crippled this game. Like, it was 16-zip at half. The Gibbs fumble, like, we could easily be talking 23-0, possibly even 30-0 if we execute a little better in the first half. And then we all just sit back and we like, hey, have at it in the second half. Like, you guys aren't going to score 30 points on us. We're set. But defensively, I agree that the first half was perfect. I don't think it was perfect on the offensive side because I think we could have executed a little better and really, really just completely dominated this game. And what we're going to talk about at the end of the game wouldn't even have been a factor because of how dominant we could have been. But first half, defense played lights out. I saw something on Twitter that Shabuzi was on stage at halftime longer than the Chicago Bears offense was in the first half. And I'm telling you right now, it's not wrong. It's not that they are not wrong. Whoever tweeted that out got a good laugh out of me, but that's a factual statement.
Yeah, they're definitely not wrong, man. I was thoroughly impressed, man. We looked at what I guess the record. I don't know if it's a record, but it ends with the no touchdowns, 12 quarters. That's a pretty solid run to go 12 quarters without any touchdowns scored on you. I guess now
three straight games essentially.
That's
without
nuts.
a touchdown.
That's nuts, man. That's nuts. I do think, man, we can continue to play that caliber of football, but the biggest thing that's concerning right now is having guys banged up. We lost Levi Onwuzurike during the game. We also lost Malcolm Rodriguez, which Dan Campbell was saying that's one that really, really concerns him, man. So I'm like, man, how does this thing look moving forward? Our linebacking room is like, I don't know, man. We might have to call Coach Campbell and see if we got some availability left, because there's not a lot going on. You got Trevor Nowatzki, you got Ben Neiman, you're talking David Long and Jack Campbell. We got a lot to worry about. As of the Detroit Lions, as far as people are banged up. Hats off to AG for still putting out a respectable team, man. But I would rather be looking at guys like Ennis Rakestraw. Emmanuel Mosley wasn't active today. Do you know anything about that?
I heard he did something in warmups. I don't know what he did. Don't know what the tweak was, but he was getting ready to play. He was warming up. Something happened. He told the coaches. They sat him out, scratched him. That's all the information I have. If anyone knows anything more, leave it in the comments. But that's all I got.
I was wondering if it was because of Alexander, but yeah, I didn't know, so I wasn't going to put it out. But yeah, that's interesting. I didn't know what happened during pregame. I hope he's okay, man. I hope it's nothing that's serious. It didn't get talked about after the game, so hopefully it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
But I
Did
missed
you mention
somebody.
Josh Pascal too? I don't know if you said his
Yeah,
name.
Pascal. That's what I was about to say. I knew I missed somebody. Pascal had a knee thing, but Coach Campbell was saying that the biggest thing that he's worried about is Malcolm Rodriguez and his knee, which ultimately really scares me, man. So that'll be another thing to look out for, man, because I would much rather be looking at Ennis Straw, or Carlton Davis, than Kendall Vildor. Although he played his heart out today, but
Yeah, we'll talk about Kendall in a little bit. But well, I texted you something at one point during this game, and I said, buddy, I think it was halftime. I said, I'm going to have a beer. I'm going to kiss my wife goodbye because I think me and Will got to go put pads on and play defensive end because we were dropping like flies. And this was just like the story for the whole game, not even just at halftime. But I think that really, this is me just speculating. I don't like what the NFL does with these short weeks. I don't like playing a tough game. The Bears played a tough game on Sunday against the Vikings. It went to overtime.
yep.
Say what we want. We beat the Colts by 18, but that was still a tough physical game. And then to turn around and play a game on Thursday, the NFL's got to do something because I think that contributes to a lot of people going down. My idea is I'm not going to give you guys a problem and not present a solution. If you're going to schedule a game on a Thursday, the team should not play a Sunday game. That should be their bye week. You can work that around somehow to give these guys the time off. But to have 3 games in, 10, 11 days, that is an insane amount of football. And this was only game 2. We still have essentially like a regular week coming up. Like the NFL's got to do something. If you're going to shorten the week up, you need to schedule these teams to have their bye week in the week before so they can plan accordingly. So you get a little time off, play a game, get 10 more days off. Like I think it's doable if I'm not mistaken. I mean, I don't have the flow chart of how to make this work right in front of me, but in my head, it makes sense. Am I wrong there?
No, I don't think you're wrong at all, man, because us coming back and playing on another Thursday game is tough, man.
Yeah.
It's tough. Sunday, Thursday. It should be Sunday, Thursday, Sunday.
Yeah.
Monday night football even. Like, what are we talking about? So, yeah, I agree with you, man.
And not even just the Lions. Like the Bears were having some injuries too. Like especially at the end of the game, it seemed like every 3 plays someone was going down. So NFL, don't just put these guys on schedules. Don't just look at them as entertainment for you. Like take care of them. All right. This is the not for long league. These players get banged up. They're putting their bodies on the line. We're talking about a team that probably didn't even really practice this week. To go 3 days, play a game, it's just too much, man. You got to schedule those bye weeks the week before if you're going to do Thursday night games. So that's just my idea. But getting back into the second half, how did you, I mean, here we go. Like sit back. This is where the show is probably going to start getting good. Well, how'd you feel about the second half?
Man, I thought the best thing that I can say about the second half is we fought our asses off. That's the bottom line. We didn't give up. Obviously, it's not even a thing. It's not even in our language for the Detroit Lions, but it was ugly. It was ugly. The Bears came out. They gave us everything that they had left in the tank. They fought hard. They threw the kitchen sink at us. They just wouldn't go away, and we had to just hang on for dear life, man. The biggest thing that worried me was our man-to-man coverage and kind of how AG likes to play the game. Every time it seemed like we went man, they hit us with some type of crossing pattern. And somebody was coming wide open. There was some pick routes, some rub routes, and I get that, but it's just part of it. It seems like our top dogs figure out a way to play through that stuff. When we get down to the Dorseys, when we get down to the Vildors, they have a hard time dealing with that type of stuff, man. Then when we went to zone, they were sitting in those holes in the zone. Keenan Allen was doing his thing, finding the holes, getting open. It's just tough. We're just not the same football team when this secondary goes down a notch. So that's what worries me moving forward. A Green Bay Packers team coming to town with tons of receivers, 2 really good tight ends, up and coming quarterback. This is going to be a situation moving forward that we're going to be continuously looking at. I'm interested to see how we deal with it. So it was just concerning in the second half. Did that secondary concern you in the second half?
Honestly, no, it didn't. I think the Bears just, this is an NFL team. We talked about it on our pregame show. This Bear team is a lot better than their 4-7, now 4-8 record indicates. Like they have a good set of wide receivers. Honestly, on paper, if you look at their wide receiver core of Keenan Allen, Odunze, and DJ Moore, I'd be troubled to find another three wide receivers on an NFL team that are better. The only team that comes to mind is the Cincinnati Bengals. They have a good team. They have a good young rookie quarterback who can throw. He's athletic. He made some plays late in this game. They went into halftime, and I even said, like, man, this game's not over. It's 16-0, and the Bears get the ball first. They went down and scored, and I thought, all right, here comes that dogfight. Like, a little delayed. We won the first half. Here they come. They're going to punch us right back. They did. Luckily, we got the ball back after that, scored another touchdown, just answered it. But, yeah, they fought hard, man. And we'll talk about some stuff at the end of the game. But Caleb Williams, they went into halftime. They got a better game plan because I said they better start using Caleb Williams' athleticism. Get him moving around. That's what he does good, all right? Move the pocket. Get him on some play action boots. Move the pocket around. Don't let him just be a sitting duck back there. Yeah. If we're playing sticky coverage, this kid has no chance. So I thought from a Bears point of view, they came out in the second half and they did exactly that. Like, got him moving. He had some big plays with his feet. He made some big throws. He was able to dissect our zone coverage. Like you were saying, he picked apart our man. Like he impressed me today. And honestly, I don't like to say that because he's a Bear and we're going to be seeing quite a bit of him. But I think he made a difference in the game, but it just come up a little bit short. But I think that was their coaching staff. We'll talk about that.
Yeah. It was. I think it was partially coaching staff. I think part of it is his style of play too. I don't want to say he forces the ball, but I do think there's times where he forces it in there, and then there's times where he holds on to it way too long. His first read is in there, and he's hanging, trying to find the big play instead of just taking what's there. I don't know, man. It's for the Detroit Lions. I think if we had a better pass rush today, if we had more pieces, I think that this game is like we were talking about before, 30, 31, 35, 40 points. Because that defense is going to be getting more 3 and outs. Field position game is going to be a little bit better, and the offense is going to be a little bit playing with a way shorter field. So I think that played a role in it. Him getting the opportunity to run around. Sometimes there was pressure coming from one side, and like Coach Campbell talks about shutting that back door. The back door wasn't getting shut. The back door was open. So I'll tell you this, Aleem and DJ Reader were doing their thing in the middle of that, in the interior. But it was those edges, man. Those edges, guys were running loose, running free, opening gaps for Caleb, or he was getting the opportunity just to squirt out. It maybe not right off the edge completely, but kind of underneath off tackle, stepping up, and then getting the opportunity to make plays, man. I think that if we're at full complement or anywhere near full complement with that linebacking core or our D-line, we're looking at a completely different ball game, but that's just not the case right now.
I don't think I've seen a Detroit Lions team that is pieced together, like putting Band-Aids on a team like this has been. Like, we're picking up guys from other teams' practice squads. Yeah. They're coming here and they're playing well. This recipe for success is something I don't think I've ever seen before, where we're literally piecing together a defense and it's still playing good football. Like, imagine if we were healthy and we can't keep using that as an excuse because every team's banged up. But like, just watching this Lions team, like, we are literally down a whole position group, working on our second whole position group with this linebacking room. Like, we are literally scraping by. And I don't know, man, we could sit here and have a weekly podcast just on Aaron Glenn himself and what he's doing. But I don't know, man, it's impressive, but it also concerns me because eventually, like, I think you said a quote the other day, if you keep putting your hand near the stove, eventually you're going to get burned. So I don't know, man. And it's nothing anybody can even do about it. It's just, we're lucky that we're getting away with it now, and hopefully it continues. But we're piecing this defense together, and it's a little concerning for me.
Yeah, man. Bottom line is this: the Jimmys and the Joes matter. I mean, the coaches can scheme up some things and do some things and make adjustments to a certain degree, but eventually those Jimmy and Joes are gonna be the difference between wins and losses. And when we're talking about now, I'm not even gonna try to list all of the guys that we lost, but I will say the guys that we haven't. We have our interior D line there. We have DJ Reader. We have Aleem. We have Jack Campbell. We have our safeties, and then our corners have missed time, right? Our ends have been out for the season. Our 2 starting ends in Davenport and Aiden Hutchinson. And then the backup ends have all missed time.
They both went down today.
Yeah. Linebackers missing time. It's with Aaron Glenn, again, what he's doing is special. And then that's all fine and dandy. But my hope is this: we're squeaking by right now, getting wins, finding a way to win, and then we peak and we get healthy at the right time for the playoff run. That's my hope, right? But nonetheless, it's very concerning, especially in with division games where these teams are not. And we got to remind ourselves, it's not like we have a 3-game, 4-game lead on everybody else. Minnesota's right behind us. Right? In Green Bay, they're not too far behind us. Right. So the Bears are the only one that's really out of contention. Right. So this could easily, if we lose a couple of games, Minnesota Vikings could easily take this thing over. Right?
Yeah.
So we gotta remember, none of this stuff. Now everybody can keep talking about best team in the league and all of this other stuff, but we got to continue to take care of business week in and week out. And it's just getting tougher and tougher the more we put Band-Aids on stuff.
The Detroit Lions are 11-1, and we only have a 1.5 game lead on the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah,
that's like even if we were 12-0, you're telling me we're undefeated and we only have a 2-game lead. Like that's how tough this NFC North is. And I hope you're right. I hope we start getting healthy at the right time. I think that we get through this Packers game, you get kind of another bye week. I think that's going to be huge late in the season. But yeah, man, like I said, back to what the NFL is doing, man. Like, you guys got to start doing something, because I'm going to start paying attention to Thursday Night Football more, because today, from what I saw, I blame the NFL for that. So I don't want to keep beating a dead horse. That's my thoughts. Let's get into some Jameson Williams talk here, William.
Yes, sir.
Great game. I thought he was having a hell of a game. I know JMO style. All right. He's mouthy. He likes to chirp. He likes to trash talk. That's pretty common. You know, I'm not used to seeing that. I'm not knocking him for it. I thought he had one of the stupidest plays for the Detroit Lions today. First, hey, loved the hurdle. I'm not even talking about that play. But when he threw the ball at the defender's face out of bounds, I just shook my head and said, oh, refs are going to call that. And sure shit, here comes the flag. How did you feel about that play?
I felt two ways about it. Two ways. At first, I was like, damn, J-Mo, come on, man. Like, that's what I said at first. And that's kind of what I took through the game and going to my car. I was like, damn, J-Mo, like, you know. And then I was hoping that he would get back out there. I seen Coach Campbell say something to him on the sideline. I seen some of the other coaches come over to him.
Randall L was ripping his ass.
Was he? Yeah. And then I was telling you the following drive, I was hoping that he could get it back and come out and make some plays. And then they sat his ass down. Like he was, yeah. So he did apologize to the team after and all of that good stuff or whatever. But I will say this. When I saw the replay, dude's talking crazy to him, right? And when I saw the replay, he flips the ball at the dude. It's not like he cocks the ball back. I think part of it was the dude's reaction to getting hit with the football. He didn't see it. It kind of hit him. And he was kind of like, you know, kind of did a dramatic thing. I think if the dude don't react like that, it's probably because I've seen Jahmyr Gibbs do the exact same thing, but didn't have the same reaction. He makes a good run. They're talking to him on the sideline. He kind of tosses the ball at the guy or puts the ball in the dude's belly. I've seen it a bazillion times. The problem with J-Mo is this. It's these micro things that keep happening and the spotlights on him. All right. So he needs to be hypersensitive to knowing that the light's on you to do anything negative. Just play your game. Don't do anything extra. But I'm not over the top upset about it like I was at the game when it first happened. At the game when it first happened and I didn't see the dude talking crazy to him, I was kind of like, because at first I thought the dude was just standing there and he threw the ball at him. Then I was like, damn, J-Mo, like that's kind of wild. But seeing a dude jaw jacking with him, it made it a little bit more understandable. And I think about this whole Detroit Lions team and who we are. Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to be in your shit, dropping footballs on your belly. Jahmyr Gibbs is going into the end zone backwards, mean mugging you on the way in. This is kind of who this team is to a certain degree. I just feel like J-Mo's got to rein it in just this much. Yeah, just this much or whatever. But I'm not as pissed as I was at the game. How you feel about it?
My initial reaction, couldn't get a great look at it. I thought he was 29. I think that's Stevenson. I thought that he stuck his leg out and tried to trip him. That's what I thought he did. And that's why I thought J-Mo's reaction was to throw the ball. So I was like, hey, yeah, like if you try to trip me on the sidelines, that's a dirty play. Going back, I get on Twitter, I see the full replay, realize I was wrong. He did not try to trip him. That's my initial thought. You can talk. Listen, you can say a lot of things on the NFL football field. We've all heard mic'd up. Okay, if you never like these guys pretty much say there's no pulling any punches. You cannot do something like that because the refs are going to see it. They're going to think that's just a little bit too far, like you're saying. And the penalty was absolutely warranted. And I like they took him out of the game. I watched him run over to the sidelines. His head was down. He knew he messed up right away. Like before he even got back on the actual field. I watched him run over to Randall L. He starts chewing his ass. And yeah, he didn't come back into the game. And you're right. After the game, he did get up in front of the team, unprovoked, not told, and he apologized. No cameras around. Apologized to the team. That was a big moment in the game. Took some points off the board. He's a young player. He's got to mature, but we keep talking about maturing. Eventually, we need to see some maturing. That's all I'm going to say.
I think it was a step in the right direction for the coaches to take action. Coaches have been standing behind him. I'm interested to see what Coach Campbell says about it because I know he's going to get asked about it this week. But at some point, there's a line. I don't know what goes on day in and day out. I don't know all of the details behind the things that have happened outside of what we hear that gets released to the public and the little behind-the-scene details that people spill out. But it seems like they stand behind him. I will say, and I don't think that I've talked about this on air yet, but I watched a couple of vlogs on JMO, and JMO is going after the games. He's going to spend time with his family, and he's like going to the Coney Islands and going to the gas stations. And like, he's not a guy that's just out here partying and doing crazy stuff. So I just think some of this stuff is embedded in his DNA, and we just got to know when to turn it on and when to turn it off. Bottom line.
Absolutely. Period. Yeah. I couldn't have said it better myself. End of the game, William.
Yes, sir.
Jack Fox puts an absolute best punt I've ever seen. I think like it pinned him at the 1 with like 3 minutes left. And I'm thinking, all right, hey, if they're going to beat us, they got to go all the way down about 70 yards and get this tie, or they got to go about 99.5 for a touchdown with 3 minutes left. I loved that. Obviously we get them down. The end of the game. How did you feel about the clock management? And we're not a Chicago Bears podcast, but I feel like that's what everyone's talking about right now is how their coaching staff handled that last play of the game. How did you feel as a coach?
I'll be honest, man. I was so upset that
I know you're going.
Yeah, the only thing that I was focused on was why we weren't already off the field. So I'll go back and I'll look at it, and I'm aware, but I'm just not aware. I'm a minute detail guy, so I gotta know what was the last play, what are things looking like, is there a reason why they're. I just got to look at it and try to get a feel for what Eberflus was thinking, but I just thought we should have been off the field a couple of times. I thought that there was some BS calls. I thought that and I'm not a referee guy. I'm not a referee robbed us. Yeah. But yeah, Vildor, that one was just ridiculous, man. But I thought that there was a couple other ones that I thought Muhammad, who had a phenomenal game coming in, I think he had the sack where he just manhandled the tackle, just absolutely fed him his lunch, sat him down with a strong arm. He had a pass breakup. He had a good game, man, as a reserve coming in. So I don't know, man. I just thought we should have been off the field. So from the time standpoint, I'm not going to speak to it because I want to speak to it with some sound information before I do. But how do you feel about it?
I think you're right because that game should have been over before that BS pass interference call. Listen, we've been very critical of Kindle Vildor. All right, very, very critical. I don't think he had a bad game today. He had one of the worst pass interference calls that I think one of the worst refereed games at the end of the game that I've seen since a Thursday night football game against the Packers where they got another chance with the Hail Mary. That was the officiating I saw at the end. Hey, players can't criticize refs. Coaches can't criticize ref. Nobody on the team can ever say anything or they're going to be light in the pocketbook. Steve and Will are here to defend these guys, okay? We can say whatever the hell we want. Our platform, our content, we can say whatever the hell we want. It was an absolute joke that was a pass interference call when Caleb Williams is throwing the ball up. Terrible throw. It was to the right of where the receiver was. DJ Moore turns, doesn't move, doesn't even look for the ball, doesn't make a play for the ball. Kindle Vildor breaks. Hey, I've been in the negativity for this Detroit media for the past 11, 10, 12, whatever, however many months since that ball bounced off my face mask. I've gotten a bad rap in Detroit. I'm going to go make a play, end this game on a high note. Didn't come up with the interception, but it was 4th down. That was ball game right there. Should have been over. We go into victory formation. I saw the ref and I said, oh my God, don't do this. reach for his hip, pull out the flag. I don't remember if it was pass interference, holding, illegal contact. Didn't matter. I knew it was an automatic first down. The game should have been over right there. So if I'm a Bears fan, I would take the Eberflus thing a little lighter because that should have been the game. Okay, how he handled that timeout being not used, you just let 40 seconds run off the clock. You could have got about 4 or 5 plays in there. I think it was like 32 seconds. You get about 4 plays in 32 seconds with a timeout. Again, shouldn't have came to that, but terrible clock management. Caleb Williams could have called timeout. Anyone could have called a timeout. For him to get up at the podium at the end of the game and say that he felt he handled it correctly, well, you're the only one who felt that way, and your team lost the game. So maybe you're not the maybe you shouldn't have a job come Monday, because I do think that that was probably it for Matt Eberflus. I think Monday morning he's gone.
I wouldn't blame the Chicago Bears there. I don't like to get on here and be super disrespectful unless they shoot something our way, but they are a bit of a dumpster fire right now, man. It's bad over there. It's just all the way across the board. They are finding a way to lose. But I will say, I don't want to sound like I don't have gratitude or I'm not thankful on Thanksgiving, especially. I'm thankful for who the Detroit Lions are now, but I do remember being the team that found a way to lose. There's a lot of football games that they could have won. Washington Commanders game, overtime with the Minnesota Vikings, and this game right here. They're not a bad football team, but they're currently finding ways not to be successful. I don't know. I don't really cheer against any of these teams except when they're playing the Detroit Lions. Other than that, I don't cheer for them. I don't really care what they're doing. But moving forward, I only want you guys to necessarily find ways to lose twice a year. But you guys need to go find another coach that's not named Aaron Glenn or Ben Johnson.
Facts. I'll say this, kind of, I guess, a little off topic. At halftime, there's a nice Bears family sitting in front of us. They were very friendly, polite, like good Bears fans. And I hope that Lions fans are good Lions fans sometimes, because I know we're not always the nice Lions fans. The Shabuzi concert was going on, and once they were all packed up and wrapped up, he looks at me and goes, "Man, that was a hell of a performance." I was like, "Yeah, that was, hey, considering our past two halftime performances, like that was probably the best one." He goes, "Yeah, but I would have preferred if they just fed Matt Eberflus to a live lion at the 50-yard line. Like that's where Bears fans are." And that was before like the game was kind of dominating on our side at that point. But I was just absolutely cracking up when he said that, because I know Bears fans, they want him gone. So I think he just put the nail in his coffin.
Buy that man a beer.
I should have bought him, because that was a good one. But anything else for tonight, Will?
No, man, just excited to break down the film, throw some podcasts out this week, and then dig into these Green Bay Packers, man. I don't know, man. I'm stressed out a little bit going into it. I know sometimes for a lot of the people that watch us, we kind of set the climate. So guys, I will say I'm not freaking out, because I have the utmost faith in our GM, head coach, and all of the coaches and players, but I can't help but be stressed out with this injury bug. So hopefully, Emmanuel Mosley gets back, Carlton Davis gets back. We figure out this locker room situation as far as what the linebackers go, and the D line, and we'll be just fine.
Yeah, I think the best way to put it is we're not stressed about the team. We're stressed about how thin the roster is getting. So that's it for tonight, guys. 11-1. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Hopefully you guys celebrated responsibly. If you were at the game, had a good time. If you're with your family, good family traditions. I know the Perkins and the Ford family, our tradition is Detroit Lions game. So 11-1, getting ready for Green Bay, another big division win on a Thursday night football next week. Stick around, hit that like button. We'll be back later with another show.